I'm here today with Dione Sims, granddaughter of Dr. Opal Lee, who's featured in the new book, Fearless Female Leaders. And I just want to ask her some questions about what is it like to be the granddaughter and family member of a fearless female leader like Dr. Opal Lee, and also to be her potential, her successor, right? To be her successor in her work. So welcome, Dione.
Hello, Kathy. Thank you.
So how is it living up to a living legend?
Well, you know what? She's got big shoes to fill. And but I've enjoyed, helping her and elevating the message of Juneteenth and the unity that it means and that it represents. Since we kind of joined together in 2014. So again, I saw her in her element, right? Juneteenth in the hot summer sun, and asked her if I could help because she was 86, right? I'm like, I'm such a bad granddaughter. I'm not helping my grandmother. She just needs to come into the new millennium and get a social media spot and get some web pages and things. She just, needs to come. And so I asked her if I could help her, and she allowed me to do that in 2014. And so I've, kind of helped elevate and champion the things that she wants to do, and try to bring to life the thoughts that she has, right? They're like little bees that get in her bonnet and she can't let them go. So,
I love it. It's part of being fearless. In the book, we put her in chapter 7, which is entitled Building Success Teams. And, it's very difficult for anyone, but particularly I think for women, to make an impact in the world if they attempt to do it all by themselves. And
mm.
so I think her gracious acceptance of your incredible offer to help her shows that fearless leadership in action because she allowed you to be part of her team.
And then I then built more people to help keep the dream alive, right? Because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And for years she, tried and, starts and fits and things. And so I think one of the things that you taught us in the fearless leader training that we did is knowing that you are not an island, and that you do need people to help you get to where you want to go. So I learned that and put it into practice as well.
I want to get your take on this latest scuttlebutt in our world today that if you're over 80, you're kind of done. You can't lead if you're over 80. You certainly can't be president of the United States, and you get, just hang it up and go. And yet there is Dr. Opal Lee at 97.
97 now. Yes.
Going strong, leading, she just was a Nobel Prize nominee.
Yeah.
She's got an honorary degree. She is traveling. What is your take on this ageism that we're all hung up about right now?
Well, it's one that she and I are really working to undo. But I think it takes our older, seasoned citizens to put it to rest, right? Yes, um, when you get older, you slow down a little. Of course, not her, but still others do. But to that end, she always tell them, look, talk to us. We have so much wisdom. We have so much more to give. And I think that we have to understand that a wealth of knowledge and wisdom lies still within our grasp if we'll just pull on it and draw it out of them instead of hanging them out to dry.
There is potentially a Juneteenth museum being developed. Is that true?
Uh-huh. So the National Juneteenth Museum will focus on telling the stories of emancipation for the nation. For us, of course, in Texas, it came on June 19th. Um, Florida still celebrates May Day. DC's date is sometime in December. In April. Oklahoma didn't get. We had to do treaties with the Indians in 1866. So there's a understanding that we're trying to enlighten folks on is when emancipation came to the nation. And Miss Opal's land, again, where we had that computer school, is a part of the swath of land where the museum is going to be. And so when you think about all of the people that played a part in freeing the enslaved, and because it was the right thing to do, not just because of a color, but we're talking about the inhumane treatment of a human being. And so we're highlighting the Quakers, right? The abolitionists. Even though Juneteenth celebrates the African American culture, we know that there will always be allies. There were allies, before the civil rights movement, right? So we're highlighting their stories and bringing those to bear, because even with the Southern Underground Railroad into Mexico, where slaves from the southern states could find asylum in Mexico because they abolished slavery long before the U.S. did, you get to tell those stories. And so the National Museum for Juneteenth is going to highlight those things.
Fantastic. And if people want to donate to helping that be
They just need
launched,
to go to the website, nationaljuneteenthmuseum.org.
and how has it been for you and the team since the federal law was passed to make Juneteenth a federal holiday? First of all, how does that make you feel, and what has changed?
Well, to me, it feels like nothing's changed too much, except that now we can say that there is a holiday, but now it's still more about educating the nation on the significance of why it's still relevant. And she'll say it all the time. We can't rest on our laurels just because we got the holiday, because more than 70% of the country still doesn't know why. And so we still travel for company events, school assemblies, all across the nation, again, educating about the relevance, because Juneteenth isn't about freedom just in our past, yes, from chattel slavery, but now Juneteenth, the concept of freedom has to resonate for everybody. And so now you're talking about freedom, financial freedom, right? Freedom, having healthcare and access to healthcare. You're talking about freedom to, start a job, to own a business instead of, and own property instead of being property. So it's about the relevance of Juneteenth to today that we're really hoping people catch on to, and companies, again, with the national holiday, celebrate it, but for its full meaning, not just what it means in the past, but what it can mean in the future. Especially this is an election year, right? And so you're celebrating your freedom and your right to vote in the election, right? To join and be a part of the solution instead of complaining about the problem. Join your school board, right? Be a part of the city council, be a county commissioner, right? So
That's
those
awesome.
are the
Yeah.
things that we are proposing now, that Juneteenth represent those initiatives for the nation.
When we were writing the book, and we were trying to find an appropriate title for Dr. Opal Lee's story, there's so much in there. We came up with the word freedom kept ringing in our ears. So the title of her story is The Fearless Face of Freedom. The Fearless
That's really
Face of
good.
Freedom. I think that
That is
depicts
good.
her well. Now, she is also a published author with the children's book, Juneteenth. How's that going? And is there another book in her future, perhaps?
Well, she is writing another one, or wanting to write another one. It's called 1619, which is the story of when the first Africans landed on the shores on the East Coast. And so writing that for children so they understand um, where it all originated, right? But her Juneteenth, the children's storybook, is doing well. We're working now to, work with school districts to get a book in at least every elementary library. And my goal is to get one in every classroom. And then parents, of course, can get them themselves. But we would like for the teachers to have a resource to talk about Juneteenth, because usually it's in the summer months. School is out, but from a social studies perspective, you can talk about it right at May, before kids get out of school, and that way they're prepared for Juneteenth celebrations that are popping up all over the country.
Get your copy today and join us in this empowering movement to redefine leadership and unlock the limitless potential in all of us.